All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the ASP.NET Community Stand-Up, where we discuss the latest updates to .NET web development. I'm Daniel Roth, Principal Product Manager for ASP.NET Core and Blazor on the .NET team. And today is the second Tuesday of the month, which means it is Blazor Community Stand-Up. So, of course, we have Javier here with us. Welcome, Javier Calvarro Nelson, software engineer on the Blazor team. How are you doing today?
Hello, everyone. I'm doing great. How are you?
Fantastic. Oh, I didn't get the banner going so that everyone can know what the topic is today. Today, we're going to be talking about leveling up eShop, our .NET sort of showcase application with Blazor in .NET 10, giving it a sort of a functionality facelift, with as many of the new Blazor features in .NET 10 as we possibly can. That's the plan. But it's also an exciting day because it is release day. There should be bits starting to show up on NuGet.org. I don't know if people sit there watching, their NuGet.org RSS feeds. Is there such a thing? Notifications for NuGet packages going live on NuGet.org. The bits are starting to flow. There should be another .NET 10 update coming out, hopefully today, fingers crossed. I know I always worry about, don't want to jinx it before the bits are actually live. They're not quite live yet, but shortly, that actually should already be in progress. The bits should be flowing out, and you should be able to see the new .NET 10 second release candidate that we are shipping for the .NET 10 release. This is the last planned release candidate before we ship a final stable release for .NET 10 in November at .NET Conf. I hope you all have your calendars marked and you're planning to join us for the release party. There will also be a Visual Studio update that should be coming out as well on the Insiders track, assuming you're all trying out the latest Visual Studio 2026 Insiders version. There should be more bits coming out shortly to coincide with the .NET 10 RC2 release. So look for that as well. I don't think they're out quite yet. Usually the VS bits come out just after the .NET bits go live. .NET 10 RC2 will be included with this update to Visual Studio 2026 Insiders Edition. So you get them both as one big package. If you're on Windows using Visual Studio, if you're on a Mac or a Linux machine and you're using Visual Studio Code or whatever your favorite text editor is, just make sure you go ahead and update the .NET 10 SDK yourself. So give that a try. Last chance to give us feedback before we ship that final stable release. We've really been putting the final polish and fixing up those last few bug fixes on these releases so that we can get them ready for the release in November. So exciting times. Okay, so the plan today is for people who aren't familiar with eShop. eShop is a simple, simple is probably the wrong word. It's actually a fairly elaborate, fairly involved online store application that we have available on GitHub that you can just download and install it. And it uses Aspire, it uses Blazor, it uses minimal APIs. We try to make it so it uses all the latest, greatest .NET features so that it gives people patterns and guidance, just a sort of a demonstrative way of how to use .NET to build web applications. We try to keep it up to date with every release. I think eShop has actually already been updated to the .NET 10 RC1 release. I think that was done just a few weeks ago, actually. So it's on .NET 10. But of course, there are new features that it's not using yet that we thought we would take this opportunity to see if we can, give that a shot. Give some of the new features a bit of a test drive in the eShop application. So Javier is here to help us out with that. Javier has also kind of developed a reputation on the Blazor team as master AI user. I don't know how many PRs you have now on the ASP.NET Core repo that have all been Copilot generated, Copilot shepherded through the system. But he's hopefully going to show us a little bit about how he does his engineering work using Copilot as part of trying to get these new features into eShop. Does that sound good, Javier? Is that the plan?
Yes, I think that's the plan. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I set up a bunch of stuff in the Visual Studio version that I have not set up yet, and we are gonna get to see how it works with Visual Studio. I normally yes, I normally do a mix of Visual Studio and and Visual Studio Code when using chat. And now with the like CLI, also the GitHub CLI. So we'll see. I realize now that if I switch the window, then you're gonna switch. It's gonna switch resolutions. Give me a second, but I undo my setup. Okay. So we can get started whenever you want.
Do you want me to show your screen? Should we pop you over to be visible?
Let's do
Okay, here we go. There we go. All right, cool.
All right, awesome. So let's talk a bit about what we have here so far. We have the eShop app, and there are a lot of like APIs and different kind of like bounded contexts, I think, because this is built with a DDD mindset, so to speak. And then we have our eShop app host, which is the orchestrator of all the like development experience. And then the part that we really care about is the web app here, which is the front end of the thing. So this is a very typical Blazor app, I think. So we can look at like program.cs. We have like add Blazor components, add interactive server components, and then yeah, the typical things.
Old static files. We could try to swap it over to map static assets as well, so it gets all the new static web asset optimizations.
All right, so let's do that.
Boom, just done. Is that it? Is that all you need to do?
Hopefully, we'll see. Maybe actually, we break everything.
Can you do me a favor? Like you're in Visual Studio Insiders Edition, right? Like, can you go to your web project? I just want you to right click on the project and just show the context menu for the web app project. Let me see if this is going to show up for you. Yeah, okay. You see the little GitHub icon with modernize next to it? So I just want people to notice that. That is the GitHub Copilot app modernization tooling, which is now included with Visual Studio 2026. This is tooling that's designed to help you upgrade your .NET apps from version to version. Like if you're going from .NET 8 to .NET 10 or .NET 9 to .NET 10, that tooling is specifically set up to help you do that. We've been using that tooling to update eShop to the latest .NET 10 version, and working with that team to sort out issues and make sure that's working well. We would love, as you guys upgrade your .NET 9 and 8 apps to 10, to give that tooling a try and see if you can use that to update your apps. Just get it onto the .NET 10 target framework monikers, update all the packages and all that stuff. Deal with it should help with some of the breaking changes as well. So hopefully that will get you running at least on .NET 10 easily. It won't do what we're about to do, which is to sort of make your app more idiomatic, like use the latest, greatest features, like swapping from use static files to map static assets. I don't think it will try to touch stuff like that. But here we're going to try and make this app use all the shiny new stuff.
Awesome. So let's get started with it. Let's first take a look at app.razor. So we have here Blazor WebGS. The first thing that we can do is we can make this use assets, because with this we're gonna get fingerprinting powers for Blazor WebGS.
That's a new feature, right? New in 10.
Yep.
So before, right, those files were served basically as like embedded resources from the assemblies that we ship, right? So they weren't actually like normal, just static web assets on disk. So they didn't get all the optimizations like fingerprinting, pre-compression. Were they pre-compressed before just through the Blazor toolchain?
WebAssembly ones, yes. Non-WebAssembly ones weren't.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. And so they can now be, by using that assets API, that will map the friendly path name to that file, to the fingerprinted version, so that it just gets that file immediately. And then that file's name that file will basically never change. If it does, the name will change because the hash will change. So cool.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. We should probably add I guess, we don't use any WebAssembly, I think, in eShop, right? So like,
no,
we don't need the resource preloader. Like that's another new feature.
Yeah.
The component, but that only shows up, I think, in WebAssembly-based applications.
Yeah. Okay, so let's try and do the first one. What I normally do here is, for example, I could go and select all the href. And if you are a keyboard wizard, you can do things like this and do multi-cursor and like just go to the end and like do stuff like this. Okay, and then we have updated all of the links to use the asset syntax. But if you're not a keyboard wizard, you can just like ask AI for it. So let's see how it does. Look at all the Razor files where we are referencing files used at of the file path instead of the direct file resource file reference. Okay, so normally I try to here say something like first make a list of the changes and show it to me. So a couple of interesting things here. I normally don't let the AI go rogue on the first thing that it can concoct. I always like to make sure that okay, we're having troubles. This is gonna be interesting. Maybe we need to switch to VS Code.
Try stopping. Just stopping and rerunning. I've had this a couple of times as well with I don't know if it's specific to the Claude model or what, but where like files get locked and then you just sort of try it again. Yeah, that seems to be working now, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. So it's having issues. Let me see that it has access to the tools.
Is the app running? Like I'm guessing it's like the files are getting locked somehow. Which I don't know why you wouldn't be able to read the file when they're locked, but that's my current running theory about why that happens.
Let me. Do I need to no, all of these are, yeah, all of these are built in. All right, so let me try again, and if not, I will be really quick switching to code in a second, and we can continue from there.
Is the app running?
The app is not running.
Yeah.
All right, let me do this. Let me stop. Let me go ahead and open eShop.
And are you on Public Insiders, Javier, or are you in some sort of fancy internal?
I am in Public Insiders, and I actually had to install Public Insiders because I am on a much cutting edge build of Visual Studio. I like to live my life on the edge. Yes. I do all the things that you're not supposed to do. I auto approve all the tools. I tell the thing to go nuts. Let's see if switching from Claude to GPT does anything.
Some other people are saying they've seen similar issues like this. It says it can't get file, but other people say that if you do in VS Code, it's smooth like butter, so it can't be the model's fault.
Okay, so actually the model actually.
Go ahead. Sorry.
The model actually made a difference because it has read all the files here.
Yeah, I mean the models do different things, right? So maybe just that they're not using the tools as aggressively as the Claude model does. And by the way, for folks saying, the praying to the demo gods, this is not a demo. There's nothing scripted about what we're doing today. we are winging it here to see how much we can get done. This is a task that we wanted to do for a while, and we're like, hey, let's just do it live on the live stream. Show people some of the new features, applying it to a real app. So who knows what's going to happen today?
Yeah. So and I've done this with people on my team where I show them how I use these things in the same way that I am showing you folks. And this is not a smooth path by any means. There is like tweaking and reasoning and stuff that like needs to happen. But for example, you see, like I was editing things manually and like I just made a mistake. I didn't realize. So these things are incredibly good at catching those types of things. Um, so it's going through and making the changes. Let's see what it's doing.
So again, this is taking the friendly file names, mapping them to the fingerprinted names. That's what that assets API is doing. If you have a server hosted application like this, then that you have that available to you. For you Blazor WebAssembly users out there, there are placeholders that you can put in and use a build time step to add all the fingerprinted file names if you want to get that optimization for like a static standalone Blazor WebAssembly app, where you don't have the luxury of using server code to render the links for you.
So yeah, normally what I do when I do these things is first of all I try very hard to make sure that I give the AI explicit instructions because that is the road to success. If you tell something, please go and update this or go and implement this, it's just gonna pick one of the 20 ways it has to implement it. And it's very likely that you're not gonna like that way. So being able to just go ahead and like tell it to do it in a specific way is a much better guarantee for success. Okay, so let's see what it has done. Assets, icons, user. It has changed the quotes, which I'm not particularly excited about, but I can live with. So at this point, let's just like do a quick review of the changes. We could iterate more. We could say, hey, like make sure that you always use double quotes, and that should be fine. Note that also it has gone ahead and like updated some other elements, I think. But overall, it's done an okay job. So let's do keep. I'm not gonna go in the fullness of time. I would not go through all of them, but that's normally what I would do at this point. Okay, so we have that. Now let's try and actually, I was going to tell you, let's try and run the app. Let's do what I actually do is run the where is it? I will essentially say run the app host project and use Playwright. Right. So this works in Visual Studio Code, but it doesn't work here. To test the web app store.
Do you have the Playwright do you need the Playwright MCP server to do this, right?
Yes, I did set that up here before the call. So it's already running. So make sure that the store renders and that the resources are available. Correctly rendered. I would like try to make a bit of a better English here, to be honest, but I'm sure the AI will understand me.
So you're letting the AI be your tester here. You're just letting it go off and handle things.
So this is now running eShop.
Exciting. Someone's asking, how expensive is this in terms of tokens? How many tokens do you spend, Javier? Do you get infinite tokens?
I do get infinite tokens because Microsoft, but I would think that actually like if you think about like the tokens that it takes to produce something, it's usually cheaper, I think, than a developer. That's kind of my current thinking.
Spend away, I think is what you're saying.
I think
Yeah.
so. But
For
like
some reason,
everybody can do that. I'm not gonna like make any guess because I am not in a position to make any guess. So this is my personal opinion. I think for me it's a productivity boost, and like many things would take me much longer without it.
for some reason, this talk of infinite tokens is reminding me of old school coin operated arcades. Did you ever go to a coin operated arcade, Javier? Are you too young and spry
No,
to see?
no. I've been there.
Yeah. So I remember when as a kid, we would do birthday parties at the coin operated arcades, and the best thing in the world was infinite tokens to play as many arcade games as you possibly could during the hour or two of the birthday party. So that's what I think of with infinite AI tokens. It's like, have fun, play on. All right, how do I? There we go.
So for some reason, it was not picking up the fact that it was running. So let me just like help it along. And the other thing is that right now we are kind of like going without instructions and things like that. Normally for all these things about like how you run the app and everything, if you give it like good Copilot instructions, then it will just like be able to like more reliably do it. Okay, so I think this is going, it's not picking up that I want him to use like Playwright. So let me do one thing. Let me stop here and let me switch to Code Insiders that I have here and see if we can get this going this way. So, and it might be because this is the first time I've used it with it might be because this is the time I've used it with Visual Studio or with Copilot on this solution, and it's having more trouble than normal. Let me just minimize that. I was trying to copy the window, but I could not. So I'm just gonna go on like GPT away. Okay, so here, let me actually have everything set up here, I believe, but I have like lots of stuff here. So let me just like turn off a bunch that we don't need. And so run the app host project, use Playwright to open the web app and test that the page is displaying without network errors. This is the wonderful world of like doing AI demos where it starts spinning and spinning and this is the proof, folks, that that nothing is scripted here.
Gotta be patient. Good things come to
Yes.
those who wait. Interesting. So some people were asking about like Sonnet, Cloud Sonnet 4.5 model availability in Visual Studio, not seeing it like you're seeing it in your versions.
I don't know what to tell you because like it changes every day.
Yeah,
It changes between.
Our friend Christian says that it's probably a GitHub organization setting, so that might be the issue there.
Yep. Oh, give me a second so that I can actually like to stop this.
Oh, Mr. JC asked about if you're coming from a web forms background and you're trying to, learn something new, would you learn MVC or would you go straight to Blazor? My recommendation, I'm sure this is going to be a big surprise to people on the call, given that this is the Blazor community stand-up, but it would be to go to Blazor. But in all seriousness, Blazor is our recommended .NET Web UI framework. At this point, it's where we're focusing all of our attention and investment in innovation. MVC is great. Like if you want to learn MVC too, that's totally fine. We have lots of users that are still using MVC and it's still supported and will continue to be so. But Blazor is our most flexible, capable web UI offering. That's where I would go if I was going to spend some time to learn something new.
Yeah. The way I would say it is that like you still get the same things that you get with like MVC when you go to Blazor, but you also get the ability to add interactive features to your app in a much easier way than if you have to lay down like JavaScript or anything else.
And if you're a web forms developer, it'll probably feel pretty familiar. Like other folks are commenting about that. I mean, they're both component-based, UI-driven UI frameworks, and so that will feel similar.
Yeah, so I think it got confused a bit because we were running other .NET and it was not aware. So let me just like it's getting there, and this is the part where I tell you that it's not a smooth process. The same thing happened when I was doing a similar demo the other day with the team. The difference, I think, is that like, well, the other day I was doing kind of a similar demo and I was talking to Dan and I was like answering questions and things like that, instead of like being immediately focused on trying to like get everything working. So let's see.
Are you saying that if you watch it too hard, then it might not actually work? Is it quantum? Is it quantum in
No,
nature?
I'm saying that I was that it was doing thing and I didn't have to be paying active time.
Yeah.
I didn't have to be looking at it for some reason. But let me just like nudge it in the right direction. In Yeah, so what Marcus said is like totally true. Doing this live is definitely more interesting.
Indeed. Someone was asking about just some general Blazor questions. I'll just pop up while you're working on this about where does the : deep what do they call that in CSS? A pseudo selector? Is that what the : is? I think. Can't remember. That's a Blazor concept for being able to punch through to having a scope CSS styles apply to child components. So yeah, it's a Blazor specific concept. So that's where that comes from. You can read more about it in the component specific styles documentation. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
Right. So we failed to launch the app, and at this point, there's no point in me just like trying to nudge it more. So let's just like go and hit here and see like if we F12 and we go to like
did we break our static resources or not? Right.
Let me actually remove the filters here because I think I might have filters. Yeah, so we can see now all the CSS and everything is coming out fingerprinted.
Beautiful.
all the SVGs and everything. Perfect. Okay, so let me go back to here. And let me just start, let me just stop here. Let me start a new conversation. And we were looking at, where were we looking here? At components, pages. Let's look at catalog. Actually, no, before that, we can probably add like not found page,
Yeah, that's an easy
which
one.
this doesn't have. Okay, so let's do this. Let me open a window. And this is what I do all the time with like my own things. Let's, when did we see not found page type?
When did we add it? Like which release?
Yeah.
It's been several releases now. I don't know.
No, the like not found page in the routes or something like that. I don't remember. We added this in 10, I'm sure.
Yes, it's new. It's new in 10. That is definitely the case. It is new in 10. It's all blur, Javier. We ship so many features that you're trouble keeping track of when, when we ship them.
So I know, but I do not remember the details, so I want to. Okay,
Oh,
so
find it here.
Yeah.
There you go. So new not found page parameter on the router, and you specify a type for the component, the routable component that you want to use for that not found page. And then we presumably want to pick up kind of like the layout maybe of the app.
Yeah.
Does that just, does that just happen? That should just happen, right?
Yeah. What happened to my Visual Studio instance here?
Oh, there it goes.
Okay.
That was the
rendering
ultra dark mode Visual Studio.
Exactly. Okay, so normally I do like go and fetch this and say something along the lines of like to the routes. Is it in the router? I don't know.
Yeah, it's on the router. But you also need to just add the page too, right? You need not found page.razor.
Yeah, that's fine. Let's see if it figures it out.
And then adding the status code handling middleware so that if you get like direct requests to a not found page, so that also works. And then maybe you can explain to us what that create scope for status code page parameter does, whatever. I forget what the new name of it is now. That one's always like I
create
never
scope
remember
for status code pages.
Yeah. When we get to it. When we get to it.
So the other way that I could have done this, by the way, is asking Copilot directly to just use the MCP Microsoft MCP docs. And that's actually a demo that I did the other day where we were investigating an issue live with AI. We asked the AI to like create the repro and everything, and it was kind of like trying its best to figure out where the issue was without not being able to find it. And like I knew where the issue were because I had seen the repro steps, and I was like, oh, this is missing these 2 steps. And the interesting thing is that instead of me telling the AI, hey, here's the issue, go and like fix it and prove it and validate it, we went with like searching the docs how to add this feature. And then that was enough for the whole system to notice that like, hey, this is actually not the right way of adding this functionality, and there is these 2 extra lines of code that needs to be put in this place and that place, and that was all that I needed to somewhat like get to a working solution. And in this case, I think it was about and that is perfectly valid. That's what I was saying. That like we could have asked like, hey, what is the way to add the not found page? I think
To your point though, like it's a new feature, so the model may not. Well, the model almost certainly won't know about the feature, but using the MS Learn MCP server would give it access to docs that it could then figure that out. That's it hasn't been on by default for a while. I think they are working to get it turned on by default so that those docs are just available. But it's a good thing to know about that. There's at least it's an option that it ships with Visual Studio 2026. So if you're using that, you can turn it on if it's not already on by default. I don't know whether it's on by default or not in the Visual Studio Code. Presumably, you have to enable it.
Yeah, and this is still working through. It's working through its live problems. Let me kind of like stop it and change models and say continue. Yeah, when it gets stuck like this, it's a bit frustrating, but like.
Javier, are you on some special release train that you get access to GPT-5 codecs, or is that?
I don't know. I imagine that's an organizational thing. Okay, so I just switched to Claude and like it just like went to town. Okay, so it added the pages. Okay, so it did not create a page. So
Someone was commenting about how much they like the Microsoft Learn MCP server. For folks that don't know how that works, like behind the scenes, it's using Azure AI Search over the MS Learn content, where Azure AI Search is acting as the vector store for all the embeddings. So if you weren't aware of that, that is a ready-made hosted vector store available to you. You can use Azure AI Search for those kind of features. But that's how they built that MCP server.
yeah. So the other thing that is interesting to know is when you're using AI, it's also important to kind of like give it a very clear goal. So like, hey, go and build the app and make sure that there are no errors, so that it has something that it can like iterate on up until it gets the right result. If not, it's very easy for the AI to just say like, I'm done.
Yeah.
So for example, in this case, it didn't create the not found page. And now I told it like, hey, go and create the not found page and go and make sure that like that the app builds without errors. Okay, so and normally at this point, we actually don't even know that like it has done the right thing, okay? Because this is like any other developer, just like throwing some code. If you don't run the app, you're not gonna know. Okay. So what I'm gonna do in the interest of time here is to actually run the app myself. So just gonna run it on the side. We're just gonna like click through and make sure that like everything is coming up alive. We can hit the store here. and something. Okay, so we are getting the 404 from the server, but what we actually need to do is to use the status code with re-execute, which I forgot.
Add the middleware, yeah. So that just adding it to the Blazor router, that will kick in for like interactive routes, right? Like if you like browse from the interactive state and try to browse to a non-existent page. But for when you just like send a request to the server and you want it to land on the Blazor not found page, you need to actually have something in the pipeline that will send it there. And that's when we'll use this the status code middleware, right?
Yeah, actually, I don't remember how to do this. Can you add
So it's found that it works with the not found page. Yeah. So it sounds like it's reading the right docs. Checking that it builds.
and since it's gonna get confused since I have it running here. Okay. Thankfully, I cancel it like fast enough. All right. So the important thing is here that like the AI cannot read your mind. So this is running again. Let's just like open the dashboard. Let's go to the online store and then go to okay, let's first hit not found, which should show our live page. Perfect. And then
Our new not found page. Nice.
if we hit Dan Roth, we also get our like not found page.
There's no Dan Roth on this server. Sorry.
Exactly, because everybody knows that the Dan Roth that matters is Dan Roth 27.
Yep, pretty much. Okay.
Right.
Awesome.
So that was not found. What else can we do now?
State persistence. State persistence.
Let's do some state persistence. Where can we add state persistence?
Where are the interactive pages, right? Is what we want, right?
Yeah. So let me just like hide this to the side, and let's search for interactive server.
I think the chat bot.
So here is on order refresh and status change. So this is interactive server. I'm just not very familiar with the functionality.
You can always ask Copilot what it does. That's what I was doing earlier today. I was going through some. I'm at the Azure Dev Summit this week. I'm actually in Lisbon, in Portugal. So, boa noite. And for some of the demos, I was trying to understand how some of the code works. Like some of these were Steve Sanderson demos, so it had some interesting, fairly elaborate coding patterns. And I would just throw the page into the Copilot and say, hey, explain to me how this works. And it was great. It was like having Steve or Javier right there with me, telling me how the things function.
Exactly. So I'm trying to think there's not a good one actually for doing state persistence here.
Even for like the disconnect scenario, like is there anything in there that's like if you're chatting with the chat bot and then you like lose the connection. You want to
Okay,
preserve
yeah, fair
translation.
enough, right? I was thinking in terms of pre-rendering actually, because that's normally the like easiest one to do.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
None of those.
so
You only need it for pre-rendering if the component is like loading some initial state, like on its like on initialized stuff, right? I don't know if any of these pages are.
yeah,
I didn't look
so
at them.
this doesn't seem to have like this doesn't have to have state associated with it. Yeah, because this is only refreshing the page actually. This is doing a full refresh. Um, and then this is doing pre-render folks.
I mean, it's worth noting that most of eShop is actually just using static server-side rendering. Like it's not even doesn't need the interactivity for a lot of those pages. I mean, most of it's read-only content, right? Like it's not just doesn't require that. It's only very select islands where it's actually using any interactivity, and that's where you would
Yeah,
use like the state persistence features. You were talking about
yeah,
pre-rendering, like just to make sure people understand that, like when you pre-render a component from the server, if it's using some sort of state to do that rendering, you don't want to have to fetch that state again when it then renders interactively, because it'll render twice. It'll pre-render and then do the interactive render. State persistence allows you to share that state really easily between the pre-rendering and the interactive rendering with a nice in .NET 10 with a nice declarative model. Yeah.
yes,
But
I'm
if you're
trying
not
to think.
loading any state, then it's not a big deal for pre-rendering at least.
I'm trying to think what other things we can do Blazor-wise to this app. We can look at like quick grid. Because a lot of the things here are WebAssembly based. Put config.
Can we do that? Like, can
Idea.
we do the chatbot? Like, the chatbot should have the like.
Yes, but the problem is that it requires OpenAI. I need to set up that too.
Um.
Oh, validation actually is a good one.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Let's look at there must be some form in this app. Okay, so we have a form here, checkout. Okay, perfect. The checkout form would do. So this takes an edit context. Let's look at the edit context, supply parameter from form, edit context, what is this info? Okay, so this guy is the one that like we are looking for. So I don't think I can upload for some reason here. Let's just search for it. Here it is. Text basket check info. So I think we need to put here a validatable type. I think this is it. Let's see. Oh, where is this? So this is in web app services. Perfect. Yeah. Okay. Then let's go to program.cs. Let's just open my Copilot chat window here. And the other thing that we want to do is perfect, improve form validation.
Marcus, I'm not sure I quite get the question, but validation is already here. Like we shipped validation. We're shipping validation in well, we're shipping the like full object graph validation support in .NET 10 for Blazor, as well as for minimal APIs. We've had validation support for like the top level properties for a long time, but being able to validate down into the object graph is something that we haven't had really good story for. We used to have an old preview package that we built a long time ago with like an object graph data annotation validator or something like that, but we never really shipped a stable version. Now we have built-in support in .NET 10. Which actually raises an interesting question, Javier. Like for the validation for these types, like presumably they already work, so they're not doing validation deep into the graph, right?
Yeah, exactly. I am gonna guess that like that's the case. Uh, yeah, because the only thing that they are doing is like
The top level properties.
but for example here we can see the like card number, card holder name. I am somewhat sure that we did this way. We did it this way to kind of like work with our limited
Within the
validation at the
system,
time.
that we can actually add some validation for those things now, and that will improve the user experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Yeah, and I was not planning to add a feature, but we can add a feature if we need to.
I would be if we could at least talk through, even though I know you don't have OpenAI, Azure OpenAI set up, but we could at least still talk to like what you would do, like show like that you take the state of that component and add the state persistence property on it. And
Yeah, but we have shown that before.
But it would
like,
be a real world.
The interesting thing is when I don't get to add it, when like the AI gets to add it.
Someone was asking about Blazor server and native AOT. That's not something that we currently support. We support ahead of time compilation for Blazor WebAssembly, of course. Can speed up your runtime performance. On the server, we support minimal APIs. We support SignalR. So a lot of the API programming models that are a little lighter weight in nature, they support native AOT. For our web UI stack, we don't support that yet. There's certainly some challenges there to work through with Blazor to enable that. We are thinking about it though. So post .NET 10 is something that we do have on our radar to see like how much progress we can potentially make. But we'll have to see. There's some real challenges like with dealing some of the more dynamic aspects of the Blazor programming model. But if you have scenarios for it where you think it would be important, like let us know. One of the customers that have asked us for this is actually the .NET Aspire team. They would love to be able to native AOT the entire Aspire dashboard, which is built with Blazor. So that's a scenario we're thinking about how we might be able to enable.
Am I running this like separately? Yes. Yeah. So yeah, it has essentially done it. It just like failed because I had the app running elsewhere. Okay, yeah, so it built successfully. Okay, so the other thing that we could do is, and this keeps getting there. Let me just do this. So we changed a bunch of stuff. Let's just commit it. So all the stuff is now committed. Let's do a refactor so that like I'm trying to think how we would like do this. Okay, so and the card expiration. Let's start a new conversation and say something along the line. One, put the card information into a separate object, and we want to add some validation rules to that. Make a proposal.
Payment card info object. So this is basically taking a very large flat object and saying, let's give it some structure that we normally would, like you often would have anyway, instead of it being flat.
Exactly, and yeah, and it's making up some things. So we don't like what they are making up. So at this point, we correct it's like no card type ID. Actually, oh, actually, never mind. There is a card type ID. That's why that's why it's adding it. I didn't see that there was a card type ID. Okay, regular expression, string length. Okay, so the only thing that I don't like from here is actually well, this is one of the times where like the AI actually is right and I am wrong, which happens more often than I am comfortable admitting. Like I was like, what is this future date thingy like that is making up? And it's not making it
Well, it
up.
made it up, but it also made it.
It's essentially saying, hey, I'm just gonna I'm just gonna add I'm just gonna add a new attribute for this. And like normally it wouldn't be done this way, but like as a starting point is okay. The regular expression, let's just tell it not to use the great count attribute.
You know, it's funny that that whole problem of like, you know, doubting the AI when it actually turns out the AI is right is, you know, expect that to happen more and more. I had it happen earlier today where I was doing a demo and I was doing like a recipe editor and I had removed the eggs from the list of ingredients from the recipe. And then I was trying to verify that the AI could see that. So I asked it like, hey, are there any eggs used in this recipe? And the AI was like, yes, there are eggs in this recipe. And I was like, but I just removed them. So it has to be wrong. And I thought it was a demo fail. And so after my presentation, I talked to one of the audience members and he said, actually, Dan, you removed the ingredient from the ingredient list, but it was still in the recipe instructions. So the AI could still see that, you know, you had to add eggs in the instructions, even though you didn't have the ingredients list. And I was like, oh, the AI knows, catches things that maybe you don't see. It's not always right, but, you know, it's impressive often how thorough it can be.
I think we don't need to validate complex type. You
need at least on the top level one, right?
Yeah, so the top level one is there.
Yeah. And yeah, okay.
All right. So now let's see if we can run the app. Yeah. Keep in mind also that this is an app that I don't usually like manipulate myself. Once you get the hang of like working with your own repo, it makes things much faster.
Yeah, I kind of get that impression a lot, right? Like when you kind of know what you want the AI to do, then you have a good eye for detecting that it's done the right thing, then using it as a tool to accomplish the thing that you know you want to do seems to be incredibly productive. Like I see you use AI that way. You're like, you know what you want. You already know what the end goal is. You're just using AI to get you there super fast. When you don't really know what the end result is, it's kind of ambiguous and you're hoping that the AI will just like, you know, figure it out, but you're not really sure if you can even tell if what it did was right. Then it can be a bit, a little bit more perilous.
Exactly. You can use it to explore, but using agent node to explore is not the like right way to go. I think there are a couple of interesting things. I've used it to like do specs. I'm using my voice to code. I've used it. I've used it with to explore a problem. And I normally one thing that is interesting to me is that I realize that I don't use a search engine anymore. I literally, whenever I have a code problem that I need to solve or I need to figure out how to like do something, how to implement a feature in the framework, I normally go directly to Copilot and say, hey, I want to do this. Here are the set of options that I know. Are there any other options that I'm not accounting for? And I kind of like use it to explore the options and then inform the design essentially. Okay, so I think we should be good now. This is now running.
Did you add the add validation call to the program CS?
Yeah, it did it automatically. Okay, so let's see. And okay, I need to log in, I guess. So Alice has $123. Did I put it correctly? Yes. Okay. So I'm logged in, so I can add this to the shopping bag. Okay, so that was the like notification update thingy. Check out here. So if I check out and then oh, this is not asking me. This is not asking me for the credit card. Oh, of course. Of course, it's not asking me because we didn't modify the UI when we refactored this. So let's just do that.
Do you have a favorite model, Javier, for specifically when you're working with a Blazor app, like not working on like Blazor itself, but like when you're like need to code Razor files and those types of things? Do you have a?
They change every week, pretty much every couple of weeks, and they change every couple of weeks, to be honest. And I normally go back and forth. I usually try the latest model. And I'm also starting to figure out what are the things that we need to do to make the models work much better with Blazor in a similar way of to what I've been just showing you, that like, hey, I pointed to the documentation and it's able to just go and figure out the right thing. I am interested in learning if we can make those things more automatic. I don't know yet. But being able to kind of like hint it more strongly that like, hey, these are the things that like you need to be paying attention. So this is building now, and it's oh, am I still running this? Yeah, I'm still running this. So let me just. This rendering thing is a bit annoying. Let's see. Yeah, so it's failing because it was like running. Let's just like. Yeah, especially when you are doing things that are outside of its control, it's much harder for it to somewhat like figure out that like it cannot see that you left a process open, essentially.
Indeed.
All right, so I didn't even look at the thing. Here is this.
You should look at the thing, everyone, just for the record.
Yes, yes.
This for real.
Yes, this is just for demo purposes, but like it's the point. Like it did this while we were talking, and that's the difference. I like to put the analogy of like the pressure cooker. That is like I don't mind putting the pressure cooker for like 1 hour because I'm not looking at it. At the end of the like time, it will just like stop the temperature and like it will go down and the food will be ready. This is it's different from like having to be sauteing something where you need to be paying attention and moving the pan, the food in the pan.
You can just
Yeah.
offload that work onto a worker thread, a Copilot thread, and have it go and do work for you in the background.
Exactly.
All right, I think we are getting over time here. Like we are over the hour, so we should probably find a place to wrap up here. Yep, there's the deep.
So
validation.
I think this is a good place to stop, because you can see here that like it added all the validation, and like if we place a thing here and like we submit it again, it would say like, hey, this should match this like regular expression, and the car expression is required. And if we set it to like the future, then it's gonna tell us that like it's in the future somewhere. Maybe I don't know what happened, but you kind of get the point.
I love all the regular expression validation errors. Like I'm just imagining like going to a website and it's like you didn't type in an input that matched this blah regular
And don't you speak regex?
Yeah, I am terrible at regex. But yeah, but it's still I think the point is shown. Like you were able to do a deep validation of the object graph using the new validation support in Blazor and .NET 10.
Yes. I was going to say the important takeaway with all these things is that it's not just about asking it to do something, it's about asking it to verify it. And if you are able to unlock and explicitly tell it what it needs to do to verify things, it's how you get it to iterate and to get to reach the goal.
Yeah, I know. There's been I see a couple naysayers in the chat. They're like, oh, I don't know, like this is this really like helping Javier's productivity or not? But
I mean, I've been talking to you and I've been making these changes. This would have typically taken me more time and focus time, essentially, of me typing things.
Mostly doing a live stream, doing a little coding on the side while you're letting AI do the hard work for you. Like it's certainly true, like you've been saying. Like it's not a perfectly one-shot direct route to the solution, but you have this extra resource, these extra processes that you can now spin up to do this work for you, and you can tune them, steer them to get to the solution while you're off doing other important things, like getting other AI agents spun off to do other work items. So collectively, you can get this massive productivity improvement.
Exactly.
Okay, so we're gonna
I was going to say the other thing that I tell people, that if like even if it takes you the same time, for me the big realization these past few months, is that it doesn't take me the same amount of effort. That I don't get to the end of the day and I'm not like completely like tapped out, tired of like doing these things, that I can continue doing, because I am not doing the hard work, sort of speak. I am guiding the tool to do the hard work.
You didn't exhaust your human token limit over the course of the day.
Exactly.
Leverage the AI ones. Great. Okay. So I've been mashing my refresh button on the .NET homepage, waiting for that .NET 10 RC2 release to show up. I haven't seen it yet. Hopefully it'll be out any minute. Usually it's like right after I say that I go, we get off the live stream and I go and check, and it's like, oh, it's there now. And then I feel sad that we didn't get the chance to celebrate together. I still don't see it yet. So it's still in the process of being released, but it should be out today. Look for those updates. Give the latest .NET 10 release candidate a try. Use the app modernization tooling to try and update your apps to it. Send us any feedback. We have a few more weeks. So if there's any like dire feedback, we can still address it. And other than that, thank you, Javier. Thank you for showing us how you do your work. And thank you, everyone, for attending with us today. We'll see you next time on the next ASP.NET Community Stand-Up. Happy coding, everyone.
Awesome. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.